Did Lee Cronin and Atomic Blumhouse succeed in resurrecting the Mummy franchise? Well, let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake. Today we're going to be reviewing The Mummy, specifically Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Was Brendan Fraser in the movie? Sadly, no. That's going to be the only spoiler we talk about today, however, as this is a spoiler-free review. If you have not seen the movie yet, you are in the right place. If you like scary horror movie reviews just like this one, then make sure to like this video, subscribe, press all of those cool little buttons so you can see more reviews in the future. Thank you to all of my channel members and Patreon supporters who keep the lights on around here. Now let's get into the review. The young daughter of a journalist disappears into the desert without a trace. 8 years later, the broken family is shocked when she is returned to them. However, what should be a joyful reunion soon turns into a living nightmare as she starts to transform into something truly horrifying. Evil Dead Mummy is a strange, weird, bizarre, and disgusting movie that may run a little long, but I think it mostly succeeds in bringing this franchise back to its horror roots. Drawing inspiration from the Evil Dead franchise, the It movies, and mainly The Exorcist, I feel like this is a film for genre fans as opposed to old school Universal monster lovers. The cinematography here is beautiful, with split diopter shots somehow being used more frequently than Cronin's previous effort, Evil Dead Rise, and the gross-out moments are vomit-worthy. There is a notable scene involving a toenail about 30 minutes into this one that made me reel back in my theater chair. I really don't say this lightly, I've seen a lot of gross horror movies. That's one of the grossest things I've ever seen in a movie. Also, whoever did the sound design for this movie deserves like all the awards. Another big highlight is that there's a big death about halfway through this movie that would make Sam Raimi such a proud father. While the gross out moments certainly deliver in this flick, the emotional angle to this movie is somewhat of a dud. This film is all about losing a child, and upon miraculously discovering that she's alive, the parents realize something horrible and mysterious has happened to her. Once Katie is found and comes home, you would think that this movie would kind of focus on the struggles of parents having to deal with this new situation. A child of theirs essentially struggling with a disability that they just weren't familiar with before. That is not an easy situation for any of the parties involved. You'd think this movie would explore that a little bit, but it really doesn't. There's shades of it here and there, but I really feel like they could have expanded on that way more. The ending of this movie definitely gives this movie something to say, but there's hardly any setup to get to this emotional climax. I'm tiptoeing around spoilers right now, but the pathos payoff just doesn't land because it's very scatterbrained. Sometimes this movie is trying to be a Bring Her Back style rendition on grief, at other times a gross out possession film, and even a Seven-inspired cop drama at one point. I wouldn't go so far as to say that this movie lacks cohesion, but you can see the struggle of making all of this work together at the same time. Like, I don't know how they would have done this story any differently. I think this was definitely the best approach, but you can tell that not everything is working here. The convoluted nature of the story structure definitely harms the emotional delivery, but pretty much everything else here lands. For instance, there's a point in the third act where I feel like this movie could have just ended. It could have stopped right there, and that would have been the movie, that would have been cool. But this movie chooses to keep going, and I really respect that very ambitious choice. This is going to be a very polarizing decision, I think, for the general audience. Not everyone is going to love this. Some people are going to walk away maybe disappointed because they just didn't end the movie right there. I kind of liked it though because it's consistent with how inconsistent this movie is previously. The ending of this movie is essentially like, hey, we're going to try something else out here just because, well, we've been trying stuff out this entire movie, so fuck it. And while not everything works here, everything that is trying to be jam-packed into The Mummy is all things I really like, and here's a movie where it's all slapped together into one. For that, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, I vibe with you. I think the best way to look at this movie is that it's like the menu at Jack in the Box, not sponsored. They do everything, and you can get anything there, but it's not gonna be the best you've ever had. There is so much that I like about this film, but I'm not sure if there was anything I loved. For that, I'd give The Mummy a very solid 7 out of 10. This movie made me so disgusted a few times, and you gotta respect a super ambitious, epic project like this. Here's how I'd rank Lee Cronin's The Mummy amongst the other horror films I've seen this year. Are you excited to see The Mummy? And if you have seen it, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.